So you've committed to being more inclusive. That's fantastic. Good for you. Oh, and you need to unify people across these differences. Blue and red and white and black and gay and straight. And how are you going to do that? Don't have a clue? Believe me, you are not alone. Let's be real about it. There are a whole lot of leaders who are wrestling with their desire to be more inclusive, but don't actually know what it means or how to go about it. And then the guilt and potential stigma of actually admitting you don't know how to be inclusive. That's where I step in, my friends. My name is Melissa Majors, and I have been trying to figure this out for a long time. So I launched some research to understand what do great leaders do to involve others equally. And that's what inclusion is. Now, I've curated a lesson from my course, The 7 Habits of Inclusive Leaders. If you want to take the full course, go to melissamajors.com. But I think this lesson will certainly help you get started overcoming some of the challenges that you face. So something interesting I've discovered about these inclusive leaders is their mindset and agreement that their social circles have a profound influence over how they see the world and the stereotypes that are formed about other people. And they also recognize, and you probably will as well if you're honest, that their social circles are much more segregated than integrated. And as a result, they are surrounded by people who look and think a lot like them. And what that does is causes them to believe that they're really, really right, because everybody around them agrees that they're really, really right. And then when they are faced with someone who has a different opinion, they think, whoa, I'm really, really right, so that person must be really, really wrong. I want to tell you a story that further explains the influence of social circles. It's about my husband. I love my husband. Let me go on record. We have been married 9 years. We've got 2 wonderful little kids. I am crazy about my husband, but he gets on my nerves. He does. Y'all can tell him. He knows he gets on my nerves. And one of the things that drives me nuts is my husband is a news junkie. He is in his element right now. But my husband one night was switching between Fox News, CNN, Fox News, CNN. And I was like, dude, will you just pick a channel already? You are driving me crazy. And he said, Melissa, I really want to know what actually happened. And if I plug into only one channel, I'm going to get a biased viewpoint on the situation. And so I listened to multiple channels to find the truth that lies somewhere in the middle. Our social circles are a lot like our favorite news channels that we plug into. And that if we only listen to one set of opinions or one type of people, we will get a biased viewpoint. It's important that we pop our bubble to make sure that we are intentional about plugging into differences of opinion. Bill Bishop, the author of The Big Sort, provides such an incredible insight related to why it's important to pop your social bubble. And he says, we now live in a giant feedback loop, hearing our own thoughts about what's right and wrong bounce back to us by the television shows we watch, the newspapers and books we read, the blogs we visit, the sermons we hear, and the neighborhoods that we live in. And again, it just makes us so convicted in our own opinion where we aren't even open to hearing other perspectives. The inclusive leaders that I studied, to pop their bubble, practice something called intellectual humility, which is the ability to admit that what you believe to be true might be wrong. Recognizing that our social circles have such an influence over our perspective, and likely our social circles have blind spots because we are not all-knowing. Inclusive leaders practice intellectual humility, and what that does is by admitting they may not have all of the answers and they could be wrong, and the people around them could be wrong. It opens them up to different perspectives and different opinions. So here's a habit that you can adopt based on the best practices of the most inclusive leaders. And it's this: if the majority of my social circle looks and thinks similarly, then I will accept that I may have blind spots to the experience of others. So again, how are you going to be more inclusive? If you need help figuring it out, visit melissamajors.com and look for the course, The 7 Habits of Inclusive Leaders. It will give you a blueprint for exactly how you can be more inclusive and do your part to unify across differences. Be well, my friends.